Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. This is going to be the top hottest Silver Age comics on the market right now based on Go Collect's top 10 list. And this is actually a really interesting list because you can see the effect that the Spider-Man trailer that recently got released had on these books. It is a very Spider-Man driven list, but let's take a look at the list. And the first on our list is, in the number 10 spot, Amazing Spider-Man number 4. Now this is a great book. I love this book. It's the first appearance of the Sandman, and it's, just a really great book. There is no 9/8 of this book on the census, but if there were, they figure it's worth like $2.4 million. Like, it's just a really highly sought after book. And you'll notice that there's 2,500 of these on the census. So previously, yesterday, I did a video on the Golden Age, right? And, I was saying, there's a lot of them. There's 200 of them. So this is 10 times that. It just shows you the difference between the Silver Age and the Golden Age. There's just a lot more of these on the census, but there's a lot of demand for these as well. So this one is a highly sought after book, and it had some pretty major recent sales. So we're going to take a look at how much this book has really shifted in price. So there's been some recent sales that for 3.0, and it's moved up 100% almost, 98.1%. So if we look at the value of that 3.0, it sold for $1,600. Now that's, as I said, it had a prior sale of $800 not that much earlier. So this book has really jumped up in value. And we see that you can get in on this book for around $1,000 for a low grade. But you can expect that these prices will definitely jump as we get closer and closer to that Spider-Man release. So these books are really, really spiking. So that's Amazing Spider-Man number 4. And that's number 10 on our list. Number 9 on our list is Amazing Spider-Man number 1. So you would expect this one to really jump, and it's moved up 95 spots. And that's just because of the trailer. People are interested in getting Amazing Spider-Man because they're interested in this character. This is one of these books which really has an interesting sales cycle where it kind of goes up and down and all over the place. It is one that you could, I picked up my copy for $5,000, and it's a 5.0. It's restored, but that's how much I paid for it at the time. And you can really see how much it's gone up. That was about a year ago. Now this Amazing Spider-Man number 1 is not his first appearance. His first appearance is in Amazing Fantasy 15, but it is the first appearance of Jonah Jameson, which is that news reporter that's always sort of like a thorn in Spider-Man's back kind of thing, because he's just always going after the costume heroes, and he always wants to publish stories about Spider-Man in a negative way. So the fair market value for this one, now there is 198, but it hasn't had any recent sales, and it sold, they figure the value of it would be $1.6 million, so a really pricey book. But there has been some recent sales that happened for 4.0. Now 4.0 sold for $14,500. So you can expect that this 4.5, this price will go up if another one comes on the market. It had just sold previously for $14,000. So if we look, when we do the analysis on this, we'll see that how these prices have really climbed. So that 4.5 has gone up 60%, and that 4.0 went up 44.6%, and you can see A 2.5 has gone up 71%. So really a massive increase in demand for this book. And you can see that entry grade one, a 2.0, will cost you $8,000. So that $5,000 for my 5.0, I feel a lot better about now. So yeah, so this, and that's only been a year. It's amazing how much this book has really jumped, and all these Marvel keys have really jumped in the last little while. Even at entry level 1.0 is now selling for $5,000. It's just crazy how much this book has gone up. And it's just because it is Amazing Spider-Man #1. A lot of interest in it, and a lot of interest because of that new trailer. So actually, there's one on Heritage right now, you can see, for $11,111 for 5.0. But that's just the beginning of the auction. That you can expect that to probably sell for $20,000-$25,000. So that'll be interesting. Let's see what else is on eBay. There's a 2.0 that looks very faded. That's selling for 11. They're trying to sell it for 11,000. So you can expect the prices for this one will continue to climb as we get closer to that Spider-Man movie. The next one on the list, this one's actually down a little bit. It was actually hotter before. And this is down, it's actually down 6 spots on the list to number 8 on the list. It was actually higher rated before. And this is the first appearance of Kingpin. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 50. First appearance of the Kingpin. So if we look at this, there are 7 of these in the 9.8, and they figure the value is $155,000 for this book. And there's 5,336 of these on the census, so a very common book. And these range, so we see that there was a bunch of sales recently in August for a 7.0 and a 6.5. So the 7.0 sold for $2,400 and 6.5 sold for $1,800. And then we also had a sale for 5.0 for $1,200 and a 4.5 for $1,000 and a 3.5 for $775. So if we look at the analyzer, we can see how much this book has really gone up over time. And it has gone up, for the 8.0, it went up 56%. So really high jump there. And as I said, this book has gone down on the list. So, you're not seeing those big numbers that you saw with the other book. But still, it's on average going up between 20 and 30%. So it's been, a pretty good ride for this book. The next on our list is Amazing Spider-Man number 14. Now this book has actually jumped 25 spots on this list, and it's all because of that trailer. In the trailer for Amazing Spider-Man, if you haven't seen it, well, spoiler alert, there is hint that the Green Goblin is going to be in the movie. You see his little bombs that he always uses. You hear his, his very well-known laugh. There's so many things that hint that the Green Goblin is going to be in the next movie, and that it's probably going to be a Sinister Six movie, in fact. So this book, which is the first appearance of the Green Goblin, Amazing Spider-Man number 14, is very hot. And that's why it's number 7 on our list. So Amazing Spider-Man number 14, first appearance of the Green Goblin. Now, there is 198 of this book on the census, and it has a fair market value of around $270,000. And there has been some recent sales. This has a fairly robust sales history because it's one that a lot of people are seeking. We got a 6.5 sold in August, 7.0 sold in August, 5.5 sold in July, 5.0 sold in... So there's just been sale after sale. And this one has 4,325 on the census. So it's fairly, there's a lot of these books, and they sell fairly frequently. Pretty much every heritage auction will have at least one copy of this book for sale. Just a very popular book. Let's take a look at how much this book has gone up. So we can see a 3.0 will sell for around $2,000. Now, if we look at the eBay listings, you'll see that those prices are really asking. You know, you see a 2.5, and they're trying to get 2,400. You get a 0.5, they're trying to get 1,100 for it. So those prices, these fair market prices, are probably a little bit low for this book. And if we look at the analyzer, we can see how much this book has really climbed in the last little while. So the 7.0 went up 7.1%. The 7.0 went up a whopping 82%. 6.5 went up 89.5%. 5.0 went up 133%. So just big corrections in value for these books. So really highly sought after book, you know, where people are willing to pay a lot for it. The next one, number 6 on our list, is Avengers No. Another great book. The great thing about this list is I have every one of these books, so I'm sort of happy seeing these numbers. So Avengers No. It's the first team up of the Avengers. It's got Iron Man, you got Loki over here, you got Thor, and you got the Hulk, and you got Ant-Man and the Wasp. All great characters, you know. And Avengers has been such a popular comic for such a long time. Now this one has actually gone up 42 spots to make it into the top 10 list. So it's actually becoming hot again. And I'm not really sure what rumor there is that's driving this book to kind of pop up on the list again, but it is just one that's always been popular. So you can see like there is no 9.8 on the census, but they figure a fair market value for this book would be just under that $1 million mark at $900,000. And there has been a 9.6 sale back in June of 2018 for $390,000. Now, the most recent sales for this book happened for 5.0 and the 6.5 for $10,000 for the 6.5, and a 5.0 sold for $6,200. And then there was also a 3.5 sale and a 3.0 sale. 3.5 sold for $4,900 and a 3.0 sold for $4,200. And if we look at how much this book has climbed, we can see that it's actually down in some of the grades. And you'd expect that a little bit because you know, the Avengers movie is kind of over. Maybe, you know, there isn't a new Avengers movie being planned anytime soon, like that that you hear news of. So there has been a little bit of a downtrend on this one within these mid grades, but you'll notice that the lower grades have really gone up, like a 1.5, 67%, a 1.0, 55%, 2.5 up 32%. People want this book, and people are nostalgic to the Avengers, and there will always be demand for these books. But you'll see a little bit of a price correction. This is not a massive price correction for this book, but you do see some price correction. So that was Avengers No. Really great book. And that's number 6 on our list. Number 5 on our list is Fantastic Four number 52, which is the first appearance of the Black Panther. Now, there's been also some recent news about Black Panther. So, you know, whenever there's news, people will go out and try to pick up a book related to that news. So, Black Panther, there was just news about Shuri becoming the next Black Panther. And though this is not Shiri, this, just that news will create interest in the character and people will seek out his first appearance. So his first appearance is in Fantastic Four number 52. And this book is, in my opinion, a little bit underrated. It should be a lot more valuable than what it is. 9/8, there's 5 of them on the census. And they figure the fair market value is around $180,000. Now there was a sale for 9/6 for $64,000 in April. And we have recent sales of a 7/5 for $3,000 and a 6/5 for $1,500. And you can get in on an entry-level book. There was an entry-level book, a 3/5 that sold for $650. And there's 5,475 of these on the census, so a fairly common book. Now, if we compare that to the eBay prices, you'll notice that always they demand a fairly high premium. Actually, there's this one, which is kind of nice. You see the 4.0 at 1,000, and you see the 6.0 for 1,025. So this is actually a bit of a steal. Somebody has it a little bit lowly priced. I'm not sure why. 6.0 should be around 1,200. So that's actually a pretty good price. Somebody has it at a really good price on eBay. You might want to pick that up. And then everyone else has it really highly priced, but there's that 6.0 that's at a really good price. And I don't see anything else that's really well priced. But that 6.0 for 1,025, very good price. Might be worthy of picking that one up. Okay, so we take a look at the analyzer. I'm just going to grab some water as I look at this. And you can see that it really has softened a lot, this book. Even though it's up on the list, it's only up one position. It hasn't really jumped some of these other books, and it's really only the fact that there has been some news that it's still on this top 10 list. So it's gone down a little bit. A bit of a price correction that we're seeing here. I actually predicted this like a few months ago that there would be a price correction in the market because some of these books had been way overpriced for kind of a long time. I still think that Fantastic 452 is just way underpriced. For what it is, it's a major key. Black Panther is a very popular character. So you can see that there's been a bit of a price correction, and it has dropped. It's not like those other ones where we see that 50 to 80% increase in price. This one, you can see it's kind of gone down maybe about 10%. So maybe it's a good time to maybe look into picking one of these up where it's gone down a little bit. It's kind of gotten hit by that price correction. Okay, so we'll look at number 4 on our list, which is Fantastic Four number 48. And this is the first appearance of the Silver Surfer and the first cameo appearance of Galactus. And I'll say that right here. So Fantastic Four number 48, just a major key, highly sought after book. And we can see that there are 45 of these on the census. So a lot of people have graded this comic. There's 7,482 of these on the census. A really, really common book. And we can see that in June of 2021, there was a sale of a 9/8 for $115,000. So, pretty pricey book. 9/6 sold for $40,000 in May. And then we got a 9/8 that just recently sold for $9,200. That's roughly, because there's multiple sales that generate that number. And then we got a bunch of sales in August for lower grades. 4/5 would run around $2,600. 4.0 for $2,300, and the 3.5 $2,000. And I'm not really sure why this book is making the list this week, other than the fact there is talk about a Fantastic Four movie, And there's a lot of talk about Galactus, so that could be the reason. But even this book, you can see price correction hitting it. And this book was actually last month number 4 on the list. So it's kind of interesting that it really hasn't shifted much. And you can see that this book is suffering a price correction as well, where it's gone down 10-15%. Some of the grades have gone up. Maybe those are price corrections in the positive way. But you can see that there's a bit of a price correction on these blue chip books. And it's just that there hasn't been any major news about Silver Surfer or Galactus recently. So again, it's one of those ones where probably a good time to buy, because there just hasn't been any news recently, and when there's no news, it sometimes means that people will kind of undervalue it, and it'll go down in price, and it's a good time to pick it up. I imagine when there's any kind of trailer or anything that's related to Fantastic Four, that this book will jump back up in price, because it's one that people have always loved. It's a very sought after key. Okay, the next one on our list is Daredevil #1. First appearance of the Daredevil. It's just first appearance of Daredevil, Matt Murdock. Origin of the Daredevil. First appearance of Karen Page, and the first appearance of Foggy Nielsen. So just very major comic. And this one, for the longest time, was underpriced. Now I think it's a little bit overpriced. There's been a lot of hype about this comic. Comic Tom always talks about this comic. So there's a lot of hype around this comic. It might be a little bit overpriced in my opinion. And we'll see that once we look at the analyzer to see how the prices have gone. But this one has actually jumped on the list 8 spots. So it's just moved up into this number 3 spot. There's 2 of them that are on the census that are 9/8, and a 9/8 will run you around $320,000. There's 31 9/6s, so there's a lot of 9/6s, and we see that sort of that mid-grade one will cost you around $6,000. Now I think the 5/5, the value is kind of a little bit low. You see like 4/5 to 5/0 and 5/5 all being the same. You can expect that this one, if somebody should be able to get a little bit more for it, closer to that 6/0 price. But there's 5,235 of these on the census, and you can see that the prices are, around entry-level copy, like really low grade, is around $2,000. So it's a pretty pricey book. And actually, let's take a look at the eBay's prices. So somebody has a 1/8 for $1,300. I'm going to actually click that just to check it out, and it's an auction. So you can expect that this will jump up in value. And maybe that other one that I was looking at was maybe an auction too. So so you can expect that it would not sell for that price, maybe closer to that 2,000 price, which is always interesting. So okay, so we see that, and then we let's take a look a little bit at the analyzer and see how this book has fared over the last little while. So you can see that, again, a little bit of a price correction, not a huge price correction. This book has gone up fairly rapidly recently. You can see like 152% increase for that really like barely a comic level. You got a 1.0 that's sold for 73%. It's gone up. 1.5, 101% increase in value. Now, I actually have a copy. My grade is a 2.5, and it's gone up 48%. So that's always nice to know. I got my copy last year. And you get, a little bit of a price correction in that 5.0. Now, as I was saying, that 5.5 is really undervalued because it's really close to, it's the same price as the 5.0. So you'd expect that the 5.0 should either go down or the 5/5 should go up. So you'll expect that this one will go up in the future. So interesting to see Daredevil #1 and how it's faring. Now the next one is, I think there have been a lot of talk on a lot of comic channels about this comic. This is Fantastic Four #67. Now this is the first cameo appearance, or first appearance, I guess it's first full appearance of him. It's either a cameo or, let's see, yeah, first brief appearance of him. So what happens in this book is basically him, which is really Adam Warlock, he's in a cocoon, which is this thing. He's inside of this. And at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy #2, we saw this cocoon, and they were sort of hinting that Adam, they called him Adam actually, not him. They went by his full name, or the new name, and they were hinting that he was going to be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So there's been a lot of sort of hype on a lot of comic channels regarding this book, because, you know, people are like, oh, this is kind of that first appearance, even though it's a brief appearance where he just basically comes out of the cocoon. And, you know, but it is a first appearance. Adam Warlock is kind of an interesting character because he has so many first appearances that you would have to get in order to get all the ones related to him. And him, no pun intended there. There's 12 of these that are on the census at a 9.8, and the 9.8 value is around $29,000. That sold in August of 2021. So just recent sale of that one. And you can see that you can get an entry-level copy for like $100 to $150. So pretty affordable key. And then you can see like even a mid-grade copy will cost you around $300 to $400. And you can see, as I always look for these kind of ones where it's two numbers that are the same, but one's a higher grade. And you can expect that this will probably correct up based on the lower grade selling for the same price. Again, this one, there's not as many of these on the census as some of the other books that we've seen. There's 2,812 of these books on the census. And we can take a look at the analyzer and how this book is performing. I would expect that it's going to be up, but let's see if there's a bit of a price correction. There's a little bit of a price correction in some of those higher grade ones, but generally this book has been performing well with a 45% increase in some of the mid-grade ones and 13% in that higher grade 6.0. And you just don't see that many high grade sales, so you don't. And maybe that's what the market is really waiting for, one of these high-grade ones to sell and really drive up that price. There has been one sale, but it's one of those ones where there's no trend associated to it, so we don't know how that impacted the market. And we can see on eBay, there's some, I'm not sure if these are best buy it nows or if these are like auctions, but you can see there's a bunch on eBay for sale. So that's #2 on our list, which is Fantastic Four #67, first brief appearance of him, which is Adam Warlock. And then the last one is another Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four #49. And this is the first full appearance of Galactus. Now, there has been a lot of talk about Galactus appearing, so a lot of people are specking on Galactus. Now, this is the first full appearance of Galactus, Fantastic Four #49. And now this one doesn't have that many on the census that are high grade. There's only one of these in a 9.8, but there's 15 of them in that 9.6 range. So, again, you can see that fair market value of a 9.8 is around $60,000. And this one has really jumped on the list. It moved up 16 spots to get this #1 spot on the list. And I think it is because people are specking on Galactus. There's been some talk about Galactus, and People are really, curious if this character will be in the next Fantastic Four movie. So we can see that we get the mid-grade ones are going to cost you around $1,000. There's been some recent sales for around that mark in August. And then we see that a really low grade, you can get it for about $230. Maybe get in on this book in a low grade for around $300. So on the census, there's 4,175 of these on the census. So a fairly common book. And it's one that you can sort of wait off on because you always see this one on sales and stuff, like on auction sites. So sometimes if you be a little bit patient, you can pick one of these up for a good price. Okay, we can see a few auctions there on eBay. Let's take a look at how it's faring in terms of the prices. Now, this one hasn't had like a huge jump. Like, some of the other books have really seen that massive increase in price. But this is more what you would expect to see. This is more of like a traditional market where you see that gradual increase in price, where it's like the 10 to 20% increase. And some price corrections too. You get that. That's a normal market thing. Nothing too major, 10% and 3% in the 2.5. But for the most part, this book is trending up in that 20% increase in value. So if there's a major trailer or something where people talk about Galactus, you can expect this book to really jump up in value. It's already the #1 on the hottest list, but you can expect it to see even bigger gains in price. So that has been the top 10 hottest books for September 10th. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give me some feedback, what you think about these videos with these top hot lists. I only do them once a month, where I look at, because I'm looking at only Golden Age and Silver Age, and there's a lot of fluctuation within the Silver Age, but you don't get that much in the Golden Age. So I'm trying to keep it once a month, where I just look at the top 10 lists and show you some of the hot books that are in the market. And I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you enjoy these videos? Please give me a thumbs up if you do, and subscribe if you really enjoy this type of content. If you want me to do more of these top 10 lists or look into certain things, comment below and tell me what you want to see. I'm really here to talk about comics, and I love talking about comics. I can talk about anything within comics, so I would love to get that feedback. So thanks again for watching. Please check out my other videos, and I'll link somewhere on the bottom to the Golden Age top 10 list, so you can check out that as well. So again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.